All right, guys, welcome to another live stream. Welcome to another live stream. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. All right, 7 ways to increase your credit score, 7 ways to better your credit score. Your credit score is very important. If you need your credit to apply for a house, apply for an apartment, apply for a car, apply for a credit card, apply for a personal loan. So you need your credit score in a lot of places, right? So it's only right that we understand how to better our credit score and maintain it. All right, so let's get right into the list. Let's not waste any time. The first way to increase your credit score is paying your bills on time. A payment history is the biggest factor in your credit score. Set up an auto pay reminder to ensure you never miss a due date. Yeah, setting up auto pay will definitely make sure you don't miss any payments. Sometimes people have trouble paying off their credit card. But the biggest thing here is making sure you make that minimum payment. On your credit score, on your credit report, it's not going to show, okay, did they pay off their credit card and things like that. They're going to show whether you had a late payment or not. And the way to avoid this is at least making that minimum payment. And for the most part, the minimum payment for most credit cards is very low. So it's not much to make sure you keep up with that. And then also, you don't want to be missing things like rent. You don't want like a late rent payment. You don't want anything late, but you definitely don't want a late rent payment or just a miss rent payment altogether, because you won't be able to apply for another apartment complex. It's going to really look bad. Those things really look bad on your credit report, and they hit it really hard. So definitely just make the minimum payments, but don't miss things like rent. That's definitely one of the biggest things, right? They look at that payment history and make sure you're paying things on time. All right, number 2, reduce credit utilization. Keep your credit card balances low relative to your credit limits. Aim to use less than 30% of your available credit, ideally below 10%. Yeah, just because you have an $8,000 credit limit or a $10,000 credit limit. I have a bunch of credit limits over $5,000, over $10,000, but I'm not using them all, right? You need to make sure that just because you have a bunch of credit limits, you're not utilizing all of it. And you want to keep it at that 30%, ideally below 10%, and just maintain that, right? And this is the way you do that, is just using it for what you need, your daily expenses. You're not just throwing random stuff on there. You're not just going shopping all the time. So this is going to increase your credit utilization. It's going to look good on your credit score and ultimately increase it, right? All right, number 3, increase credit limits. Request a credit limit increase on your existing cards without increasing spending to lower your credit utilization ratio. This is true, right? I have a bunch of credit cards, and I think like every 6 months to a year, I go ahead and I increase those limits. And what that does is goes hand in hand with the second one. It'll increase that utilization ratio, because it's basically going to show, okay, this person has $30,000 in credit limits, and they increase it and they're not utilizing all their credit, right? So it's going to show that ratio as very low, and that's going to look good to the people that are giving you credit, right? They want to see a low utilization rate, and the way you do that is by increasing your credit limits. And all you have to do, really, a lot of them, like Chase, allows you to increase it through the app, but sometimes you do have to call the financial institution to say, hey, I want this credit increase, and maybe they have to just go through like some approval process, and then you get the credit increase. But the most important thing here is without increasing spending, right? We're not increasing our credit limit $3,000-$4,000 to go on a shopping spree. This is definitely not going to help that utilization ratio. So you just want to increase the limits, try it maybe every 6 months, every year, but you don't want to use it, right? You just want to show that, okay, I'm able to have this big amount of credit limit, and I'm not using it not responsibly. All right, 4, diversify your credit mix. Having a mix of credit cards, credit accounts, credit cards, auto loans, mortgages can help improve your credit score as long as you manage them responsibly. And this is true. As you start off, you'll probably just start off with a secured credit card, something like that. Then you move on to an actual credit card. You'll move on to a mortgage or a rent, and then you have utilities with that, and then maybe like an auto loan, personal loan. You definitely want to diversify your credit basket. You don't want it to keep it the same. and you want to make sure that it's diversified, because when people pull the credit score, they're not going to give you an auto loan if you never had an auto. Well, I'm not going to say if you never had an auto loan before, but it's just, it becomes easier, right? Obviously, the first auto loan you get is going to be a lot harder, but if they see a few of those on your report, it's just going to be easier to get the next auto loan. And the same thing with personal, and then also with the amount you take out as well. You want to be increasing those amounts, not all the time, and you don't always have to utilize like the limits for a personal loan, but you know, the diversified your basket is when it comes to the credit counts, the more opportunities you're going to get, and the more your credit score is going to increase, right? So yeah, diversify that credit basket. 5, keep old accounts open. Length of credit history matters. If you don't use an old credit card often, keep it open and can maintain your average account age. Yeah, your average account age or credit history is very important. Now, I'm going to be honest, this year I'm probably going to be closing out a few credit cards. And for me, I already built up my credit score, so this is not, for me, I don't really care. But it's just more to maintain the credit lines that I have, and I can see, okay, you know, I'm just trying to reduce it and keep it to like 2 or 3, essentially. And, you know, for some people, they don't mind having 7, 8 accounts open, but I just want to be able to reduce that. But if you're a person just starting off, keep those accounts open, because it's going to show that, okay, I can keep an account open for, you know, 5 to 6 years, you know, make the minimum payments, pay it off, and have that utilization ratio high or low, and you know, just show that you're able to maintain an account for years and years and years, and this is going to increase your credit score. But me personally, I'm going to be closing out some accounts, and this is just for maintenance reasons, for simplification. But I think when you're starting out, it's good to keep these accounts open. All right, 6, limit hard inquiries. Too many credit card applications in a short period can lower your score. Apply for new credit only when necessary. Yeah, this is true. I know some people that like to apply for a lot of credit cards because they do these like credit card arbitrage, or they're trying to get points and things like that. But even with that, you still want to space it out, you know, like 1 to 3 months. You don't want to do it like in a week, like back-to-back weeks. Okay, I'm applying for a credit card this week, and then next week I'm applying for another credit card. You definitely want to space that out and limit the hard inquiries that you put on your credit report, because they're going to look at this, right? If you apply for a personal loan, they're going to see, okay, this is a person, you know, apply for these, you know, 5 personal loans in the last week, and they didn't get approved, or whatever the case may be. Now, this one, you know, it is true, but I've done a decent amount in, you know, 2 to 3 months at a time. And it really didn't, it does affect your credit score, but it never really affected my approval process and things like that. So this one's probably a little more lenient, but you do want to limit the hard inquiries. You don't want to be just applying for anything, and it's not going to look good on your credit report. All right, number 7, dispute errors on your credit report. Check your credit report regularly and dispute any inaccuracies that may be hurting your score. And this is true. I think you get a free one, like for Chase, they always give me one, and then with Wells Fargo as well. But you can use Credit Karma, and I'm not sure what the other apps are. But yeah, you want to be checking your credit report regularly so that you can see, okay, did I make this transaction? There's something new that came up. Was it me? Did I get hacked? Is somebody using my information, and so on and so forth. So you definitely want to be checking those transactions on your credit report and making sure that it's you. And then if it's not you, dispute this, right? And make sure. And even for stuff maybe too that you've had for a long time, maybe it's like a medical bill or something like that, maybe you can dispute those too. I think you can dispute those after a while. So yeah, you just want to be checking your credit score report and making sure that you're not getting hit with stuff. And if you are, you're resolving it, you're disputing it. All right, so those are the 7 ways to increase your credit score. Again, number 1, pay bills on time. At least make that minimum payment. It's crucial. And don't miss things like your rent payment. It's not going to look good. 2, reduce credit utilization. Again, just because you have a $10,000 limit doesn't mean you need to use all of it. 3, increase credit limits. yeah, increase your credit limits. It doesn't cost to do this, and it doesn't mean you need to increase your spending. Just increase your limits so you can boost or lower that utilization rate ratio. 4, diversify your credit mix. Yeah, as you get older, you'll have different stuff: personal loans, lines of credits, mortgages, auto loans, and things like that. That looks good on your credit report. It just shows that you can have different baskets of credit lines and stuff like that, and you could pay it on time, and you're not delinquent or anything like that. 5, keep old accounts open. Like I said, I'm going to be closing out accounts, but it looks good when you keep it open in the beginning when you're starting to build out that credit score. So make sure you keep those accounts open. 6, limit hard inquiries. Yeah, don't apply back to back. Just give it some time, a month or two before you apply for something new. And 7, dispute errors on your credit report. Very important. Your credit score is very important. Take it serious. You're going to need it. Again, it also to build wealth. A lot of people don't pay things in cash. They're going to be using your credit, your credit. So you got to make sure that credit score is looking good. That's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.